so Sam, you've just had the screening of The Seed. How did it go?
How did it go? Traumatically. It's quite hard watching your first film play out. Yeah, it's such a crazy movie that I seem to have made. I was watching it and I was like, I'm not quite sure what I've made. Body horror, creatures, killings. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I'm a little bit like, wow, what was that? Heard people laughing. That was interesting. You know, like I know it's written as a comedy, and you never know when you write something that's like a horror comedy, weird, surreal film, how it's going to quite play. But I mean, I suppose like, the one thing that's gratifying about it is that it is at least a really crazy, like batshit crazy movie. And I think in these times where there's a lot of caution and like quite a lot of sort of dry cinema out there, I thought it's nice to see something that's just so mental, so out there really. So I enjoyed that. But it's my first film and it's not quite as I would have wanted it. It's as good as I could get it, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Someone said they really liked it. I thought it was the best film they've seen for ages. I don't know. Honestly, it's weird watching your work like that, and the kind of film that it is. It's just such a crazy mix of elements, I guess.
So how do you come up with those crazy mix of elements? Because there is a lot in this film.
Yeah, I don't know actually. I mean, I've got a lot of interest. I'm into really weird art. I'm into there's a painter called Marion Kahn that I'm like completely in love with her work, and I remember seeing that and thinking, wow, just weird, twisted sort of like bodies, and a weird cat watching them. I lived in the desert for a bit. I built a cabin in the middle of the desert. It turned out to be haunted, so that kind of gave me the desert location. Massive fan of Alien and all things Geiger, and I was looking with this film to try and embed kind of like some weird art house horror in there. So Federica Dowry, Hermes Patakos, their work, sticking their meat carpet into the film is nice to see it. I don't know really. I mean, I guess my taste is quite broad. I like Rolling Thunder, I like Alien, I like Almodovar, I like all these things, all these sorts of movies. So I guess you just merge it all together and you get that crazy hodgepodge of madness.
Well, it's definitely different, and I remember when I was watching it and then the creature arrives, and then I was like, huh? And it took me a little bit to kind of, there is so much to take in, but right. What I did take is that the three lead actresses are so good together and the chemistry is so good that you kind of go on the journey with them and just go for the ride. I mean, how difficult was it to get those three right?
To get the casting right, it was a war of attrition. I was told that I should cast the thing via Zoom, and I was like, no way. My background's in theatre, so you normally with theatre you have 6 weeks to rehearse stuff. So I'm quite nuanced. I'm looking for I don't know. I've done a lot of casting, and I knew that this film, in the time frame we had to shoot it, we needed professionals. I basically just I got the casting, and I just did the whole film basically. Got them to perform the whole film. Tried the really tricky scenes, particularly the scene where Charlotte's crawling towards the I'm not going to say, but the finale. That scene. I tried out the really tricky scenes basically, and stress tested them. And then even then, like Sophie Vavasseur. She was from a Zoom tape. We'd had done all these auditions and all this casting. I was still like, I just don't think I'm seeing what I need here. And I knew Sophie was just professional, and she was going to knock it out of the park. Chelsea, she wasn't even on the list of actresses. I was just going through like resumes online, and I was like, well, she's got a look. Let's get her in. Got her in, and bit by bit, she just stole the part basically, which is amazing, But you've got to watch people and watch them very carefully. And knowing you're going into a very high pressure environment, you need professionals. These actresses had like two takes a shot, and then we had to move because otherwise we weren't going to finish the film. We didn't even finish the film, even with that.
They had to be pretty game as well, because you really do put them through some stuff without giving anything away.
They did take a lot of punishment actually, particularly Lucy and Sophie. The oil that they were covered in at the end it attracts flies, and Malta has got a lot of flies in that particular desert bit that we were in, and they were covered in them, and it was sticky and hot and brutal. I mean, it was brutal. But like Sophie's performance, where she's staggering off, that's just great. Now she's just really getting into that zombie sort of character. But yeah, it was tough, and Chelsea as well. She had to go through a ton of stuff. But I mean, I'm very happy with how I cast it. I spent a lot of time doing so. And I think that really, with like lower budget films, that saves the day. If you don't have a good cast, you'll sink. If you've got like tease a performance out, I mean, you know, I set them up with the characters and sort of gave them a bit of navigation, but then they're on their own really. You know, we don't get to come back for another take unless the focus is off. That's the life of a director on a low budget indie film. It's not you can't really nuance things. It's just a machine, and you've just got to think fast and be able to do it.
So now you've made this crazy film. What will you take forward for the next one?
What will I take forward for the next one? I don't know. I don't know if I want to do a next one. No, I don't. No, I do. I do. What would I take forward? Cast it properly. But then you know, it's COVID. Like the film that I'm supposed to be possibly doing in the new year, it's in Canada. I can't get in the room with the actors. So how do I know if it's going to be any good? I don't know. It's cast. That's the big takeaway from the film: is cast properly. Cast it properly and be as prepared as you possibly can, and everything's going to go wrong anyway. But you know, you just got to back yourself really. I don't know, making low budget films in this sort of way, in this really short compressed time frame, it's no joke, man. It's like, it's actual war. Like 3 months, 3 days off, nothing working, everything going wrong. Like, it was hell on earth. Like, I felt like I had a terrible disease that I couldn't get rid of right through to the end of the film. And I suppose filmmaking is that. You don't necessarily enjoy it, but it's being able to make fast decisions under pressure. That's what low budget filmmaking is about. I make those right decisions. My editor saved the day as well. I had a very good editor on this project. Barry Moen is absolutely incredible. I came back from Malta with no energy and no love for my life whatsoever. Literally just had enough of it. And he was like, no, we've got a good film here in the can. But we had to rewrite the thing because we didn't get what we needed out of Malta, to reshoot stuff in a warehouse in Manor House, you know. It was an odyssey. But I suppose like a lot of films are, you know, I don't think there's many films that just go by the numbers. And I suppose, you know, in a way, this film it sort of absorbed some of the carnage that was going on around it, and it kind of got in there. But yeah, I'm not sure what I would take forward. Because I suppose every time you're going to have new problems, there's always going to be new problems. I suspect that those problems don't go away, and you've just got to. When you go to make your first film, you're like, okay, you're reading Darius Condé books, you're like studying your craft, you're thinking about production design, and then you get in there and it's just a machine, and you've just got to fight for your life, and that's it. So all your training, that's all you've got really in those sort of moments. Like how fast can you make those decisions? How can you rewrite a scene? Can you compress 2 scenes into one scene on the fly with people shouting at you? It's like, you know, like the last days of that shoot, which is all in the desert, that was just, it was crazy. Girls covered in oil. It was supposed to be 4 days. It ended up being 3. Like the squid arm, no one had even fitted it to the cast. Dan had gone home by that point, so we didn't have him. Just like, I just shouted. I remember shouting, just someone put a bullet hole in that girl's head. The makeup girl came running out of the dust, got it on, turned the camera on, action, shoot it, sun setting. It's quite an experience making a low budget film.
Well, congratulations on getting there.
Yeah.
I'm glad the screening went well, and best of luck with it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cheers.